Let's just also talk about the impact of smog as far as airlines are concerned and these exorbitant fares. How unfair is it for the poor passenger to bear the brunt of these unforeseen circumstances? Now, flyers are left in the lurch, and this is the airfares that have surged. Do airlines really have no accountability when it comes to these emergency situations? Now, passengers are being taken for a ride. Where does that buck really stop is the big question. These exorbitant fares during the festive season, as it is, the fare is on a higher side, but due to the smog, the airlines have been impacted. Passengers have been made to wait for 6 hours, whether it's at the airport or whether it's inside the flight. A lot of woes of the passengers that are coming to the forefront. We're talking about as we brace for the winter season. Of course, with the winter season, fog delays are synonymous, and airfares are always on a rise between Diwali to say at least New Year's and maybe even later. And that is also the time when winter months where the northern part of the country is impacted by the fog situation. Aren't the airlines expected to be better equipped when it comes to these situations? Our top focus in this edition is the surge in airfares and how the common man continues to suffer due to the arbitrary and unjustifiable price surge, while there continues to be a massive delay and diversion in flights day in and day out, leaving the consumers in the lurch. And of course, today, let's just get you a sense of how bad it is in terms of the rates. We're talking about prices that have gone up. Let's just pull up some data in terms of if you need to fly from Delhi to Mumbai. Let's take into account a SpiceJet flight. How much is it going to cost you? It's going to be above 21,000 rupees. We're talking about 21,635 rupees for a flight from New Delhi to Mumbai. If it's an emergency situation, how is one supposed to travel and dish out that kind of money? Let's just also talk about other airlines which are going to cost you, in fact, even more. We're talking about over 22,000. A flight from Delhi to Mumbai could be as high as 23,332. That's an Indigo flight. We're talking about flights which are highly steep and expensive. I mean, these flights cost about 5,000 to 7,000 rupees one way, and this is the kind of money that one will need to dole out just to make that trip to Mumbai. Let's just also pull up a flight from Delhi to, say, Kolkata, and how expensive will that be? Let's just get you an update on how steep the fares are. Of course, these airlines are charging that exorbitant fare. Let's just get you that fare price for an Indigo flight, which is going to be taking off from Delhi, going to Kolkata, and there you can see the price here at 21,493. A flight that usually costs about only 5,000 to 6,000 rupees. Okay, if you took an Air India flight, it would cost you more than 26,000 rupees. I mean, you could go abroad in that amount, and that is the kind of fare that has, in fact, gone up. I mean, of course, the rates are going absolutely off the charts. There again, Air India flight more than 26,000 rupees. It is a flight which is just 2 hours long from Delhi to Kolkata. That's going to cost you as much as perhaps a ticket to, say, Bangkok or maybe Dubai. And that is how much these airlines have increased their prices. And of course, we're also going to talk about the inconvenience that has been caused to the passengers. They've been made to wait endlessly because of the smog situation. And smog, of course, this time around has come even earlier. It's come unannounced because usually the fog situation only comes about later, close to the end of the year. It could be the end of December, and of course it continues all the way till February. But this time around, we have seen, due to a rise in humidity, a drop in temperatures, there's been unannounced emergency situation when it comes to the fog situation. Let's just also go across to my colleague Sam, who's joining us from Chennai. Sam, take us through the impact that one is feeling as far as the smog is concerned here in the national capital. Flights are getting delayed. What is the situation like in Chennai? How are the passengers dealing with this?
Well, there are no cancellations as such for flights either arriving or departing from Chennai, Divya. But the impact of the weather, the fog conditions in other cities like Delhi, that has led to delays in flights. With respect to the cost or the ticket fare, many say it's during festive seasons, when there's a peak in demand, they would normally witness a hike in airfares, which could even go up to double or more than double the cost. But now, because of these cancellations happening in other parts of India, flights, the cost or ticket prices have also increased considerably. And in that sense, many question the logic behind this, because for people who have emergency requirements or needs to fly, they are the ones who are put to hardship. And they say it's important without disturbing the business model, what they call as the dynamic business model. The government should also ensure that there is a ceiling till what level can airlines increase the prices. But airlines point out that's the model they work on, and if people plan much in advance, they get very low price tickets. That's the other side of the story they point out, and it's important that passengers plan ahead. And it's here, in this kind of situation, they're able to make profits to keep the business running viably, as they call it. But consumers or frequent travelers say it's important that the government puts in a mechanism in place so that there is no exorbitant charging or fleecing of passengers in that sense, so that the interests of both consumers as well as the airlines could be met somewhere by striking at the middle ground. That's what they say now.
Right. Thank you so much, Sab, for getting us all those details. And to get more on this, we have Dr. Sumit Susilan, aviation expert, joining us. He's also the world's youngest aviation author by the World Book of Record. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning. Of course, safety of the passenger is paramount. But how unfair is it for the poor flyer to bear the brunt of these unforeseen circumstances?
Yeah, thanks for connecting. I would like to say that this is because of the demand which is raising day by day, and especially right now because as you compare Delhi Bombay flights, it's because of the elections. You can see that because of the election, there are a lot of VVIP operations are happening in Mumbai airports, Mumbai, Pune, or you can say entire Maharashtra. That's the reason flight tickets are very high because there's only one runway which is in Mumbai, and most of the time when the runways are occupied, the airlines have to divert the flights. So this is one of the reason why the Mumbai flights are very expensive currently. And if you compare, because of the weather over there in Delhi, the flights are getting delayed and making the major hassle for the passengers.
Right. When we talk about smog, of course, that is absolutely synonymous. Smog issues are synonymous with the winter season. There's no escaping this problem. How do we get to a middle path where the passenger doesn't have to pay through his nose?
See, it's always the airlines always suggest the passengers to book well in advance. This time, if you compare from the last year, the cancellations are very less, but you can see the major mergers is happening in airlines like Air India Express and Air Asia got recently merged, and yesterday only the Air India and Vistara merger happened. There are a lot of hassles going on in the airline side, whereas because of merger, there are some cancellation happened, and the flights are also getting delayed. So I think the passengers should, pre-plan the flight bookings, and there are some travel agents, they have a liberty to book tickets in bulk in advance, where they're blocking the tickets, and because of the peak season, they are doing these things so that they can make packages and sell off this.
Right. Are the passengers being informed way in advance? Is it that the passengers reach the airport and that's only when they come to know that there's a flight delay? Or are they made to wait endlessly, perhaps at the airport, and sometimes, most of the times, inside the flight itself for hours? I mean, this has been something we've seen year on year that seems to be getting only worse. Passengers, taking to social media, talking about how they were stuck inside a plane without water, without any sort of facility for 8 to 10 hours. So why can't the flights finally, get their act together instead of keeping people inside the planes and, have this outburst on social media with, authorities getting involved. And, we've seen something similar happen even with hoax calls and, where the passenger again was bearing the brunt of this.
Yeah, it's happened once in a million when we are, boarding the passenger and making them wait. Nowadays it is not happening because the ministries and the regulatories are very strict nowadays. The passengers are getting the information well in advance. They are getting SMSs for the delay if happening, but there are some technical snags which happened just before the pushback and takeoffs. So that delay can't, we can't, sort out that type of delays. But yes, the passengers are getting the information well in advance right now.
Right, the wedding season is upon us. Christmas and New Year's is not too far away. Schools and colleges will break for winter, which basically means that it's going to be peak season when it comes to airlines. And when we throw fog into that mix, basically it's the worst time to fly. The prices of the tickets are already on a high, because the demand is so high. How can the, airlines factor in such measures when it comes to these unannounced, issues, these emergency issues that crop up every year on year as far as the winter season is concerned?
Nowadays, you can see a lot of airlines are now using long haul aircrafts, which have a capacity of around 350 passengers and all. So nowadays, even the ministry is pushing them to operate more long haul aircrafts in these routes like Bombay, Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, or Delhi, Bangalore, because these can, cater more and more passengers in one go. The flight tickets can go down. Okay, then fuel, definitely the fuel consumption will be less compared to that. So I think the airlines are still ordering and they're waiting a lot of aircraft delivery by the end of this year. There are airlines like Indigo and all, they are already placed the order for the bigger aircraft like A350 and all. So once we start receiving these machines, so I am pretty sure that the fares will drastically go down.
Right, of course, where does the buck really stop? What really explains these high airfares? Are the airlines taking the flyers for a ride? All these questions, of course, remain unanswered in terms of what can really one do? What is the solution to this perennial problem? Thank you so much for speaking to us.